reason I went into PR, to be honest, was to have my weekends free to go sailing. And working in journalism, you frequently had to work on Saturdays and sometimes Sundays. So that's the reason I made the switch. I started in PR in January 1964, and I came up to Auckland and worked with Gordon Dryden and Bill Ord, who were absolutely wonderful PR practitioners. It was a great point of entry into the industry. There were probably 20, 30 people in New Zealand working in public relations, no more, doing very much the sort of work we're doing now, but of course without the technology that underlies communication today. Today's clients are pretty savvy. They know what PR is, they know what it can do, they know what to expect. The media also know a great deal more about PR, so we're operating in a more informed environment, but the basic profession, the activities are very much as they were. I think since the share market crash, PR has grown up. It's a very sober industry, and I mean that in several ways. There are many more women working in the industry. A lot of people have to leave the office and get home to look after children. It's quietened down, it's grown up. I have to say some of the fun has gone out of it as well, but the professionalism has increased. I got involved with people like Rob Fennick and Murray McCulley, and we started publishing businesses, and it grew and grew, and we sold that business to the biggest PR company in the world, which was Hill & Knowlton in New York. And I thought, this is fun, so I've done that several times since, built up consultancies and sold them overseas. Peter Cherrington was a senior practitioner in public relations, and he died young. I remember he had a heart attack driving his car in Auckland, and his widow put up the Peter Cherrington Memorial Award for the outstanding public relations project in New Zealand each year. And I, of course, had a new business, so I put in a fairly spirited attempt to win it. I realised the promotional value to me, and we entered a project which we'd done, which was the promotion of the Albion Hotel in Auckland. Now, that might sound really ordinary, but what we were doing, we were coming up against all the booze barns of the day and drunk driving and say, look, you can drink in a little boutique hotel in town. You don't have to drive a car. It doesn't have to be a rough environment. You can do your drinking amidst antique furniture. And the company put its heart and soul into bringing out a British architect, British furniture from Victorian pubs in Britain, and created a totally different drinking scene in New Zealand. That's what the award was really about, for changing people's attitudes to drinking in pubs. We made it widely known, of course, that we'd won the first award, and of course, when there's only one award, it's not like a dozen Oscars. There was only the one award, and it stayed like that, I think, for some 7 or 8 years, until it was realised that the awards were a good thing for the industry and that they should recognise differences of specialisation. Today, PR is much better understood, and there are many more subtleties and an emphasis on communicating with all shareholders or stakeholders, so that most PR campaigns are facing in a number of different directions at the same time. More sophisticated work, more professional work, and of course more sophisticated clients with greater expectations. There were probably 20 or 30 people in those days. Today we've got 1,200 members of PRINZ, several thousand people earning a living in public relations and various forms of communication through the country. When I came in as president about 2000, 2001, I suddenly got involved for the first time with the running of PRINZ, and I was quite horrified that an organisation of our size, representing a profession through the country, was using a part-time accountancy service to run the business backroom of PRINZ. And I looked at the books, and I was sure we could afford a full-time executive director. Tim Marshall supported that strongly, and we had a unanimous vote on the executive that we would take the move to set up a full-time executive director for PRINZ, our own office, and I think that was a real turning point for PRINZ. We took ourselves more seriously, and it's the organisation we have today, providing a pretty impressive service to members. I would say that public relations is a wonderful business to be in for several reasons. Firstly, every day is different. There are fresh challenges. The second thing for me is the breadth of what we can do. If you're a lawyer, you practice law. If you're an accountant, you're driven by the law governing accountancy. In public relations, you can do or recommend to your client anything that you can imagine, as long as it's legal. We work on a very broad canvas. Those to me are the appealing things. I think PRINZ continually reaffirms the importance of our profession, but probably to me it creates opportunities to meet with your contemporaries and your fellows. We all work in silos. You don't naturally mix with people from other consultancies or in-house PR people, and PRINZ creates the opportunity to do that throughout the year, and I really value that.